In the last module, I had one clip where I showed the IMDb app securely communicating over an HTTPS connection, yet we were somehow able to get in the middle of the traffic using Fiddler. In this module, I'm going to show you how to set that up so that you too can interpret HTTPS traffic being sent between the app and the server. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the insecure patterns that we can discover as a result. But first of all, let's start off with a simple scenario where we have a server and a client communicating over HTTPS. In this communication, the server provides a certificate. The certificate is issued by a certificate authority. Clients have a list of certificate authorities they trust. So, for example, VeriSign, Comodo, Start SSL, one of my favorites because you can go and get one for free. The clients have this list of trusted certificate authorities. They validate the certificate by completing the certificate chain and verifying that the certificate was issued by a valid CA, or certificate authority. If that CA isn't recognized by the client, the certificate is not trusted and the connection should be dropped. Not always. We'll come back to that and we'll see some examples later of where it doesn't happen. So that's very simple. That's HTTPS/SSL 101. And I do use those terms a little bit interchangeably, even though they are discrete things, along with TLS, Transport Layer Security, which is really the evolution of SSL. But the terms have become a bit colloquial, and most of the time they all refer back to the simple practice of public key encryption based around the concept of trusted certificate authorities issuing certificates that are served by servers and validated by clients. So that's the construct we're working in here. Let's move on to the Fiddler bit though, because this is what I really want to look at. We'll take that communication out and bring in Fiddler. So imagine we've got the client proxying traffic through Fiddler, as we've done many times throughout this course. Now what's going to happen when we use Fiddler to mount this man-in-the-middle attack is it's going to have the HTTPS conversation with the server. It's going to receive the certificate, complete the certificate chain, do the validation, and effectively become the client. So this is really what we saw just before. We've just got Fiddler sitting in the middle of it. Now Fiddler, after it decrypts that communication, is going to create its own HTTPS connection to the client and re-encrypt it with its own certificate. Now Fiddler cannot create a valid certificate for other people's domains. So say in the example before, it couldn't create a valid certificate for imdb.com. It can create its own self-signed certificate, and when everything is done right, the client would outright reject that because the client doesn't trust the Fiddler root certificate, unless we compromise the client and install Fiddler's root certificate there. If we can compromise that client, then we can get it to trust Fiddler's certificate, and any certificate validation that's done on the client will be successful, and we can use Fiddler to watch all the communication going backwards and forwards. That's the basic premise of what we're going to do in this module. So let's now move on, and I want to show you exactly how to set that up in Fiddler right from scratch.